The North Antrim coastline is both rugged and beautiful, and storms can appear in an instant. The council here are moving to stay ahead of the financial one that may be heading their way. Causeway Coast and Glens hosts many of Northern Ireland's top tourist destinations. The income that supplies is very seasonal, and the jobs that it creates are lowly paid. The lack of big corporate business here means that the domestic rate is heavily relied on. Ivor Wallace explains how a COVID strategy is the foundation for a policy that may keep the cost of local government down while getting help to where it is needed most.
The positive of COVID was that it forced us, maybe the wrong word, us to do a strategy where we have brought all the different organisations together, and we're all be able to work together. The answer, food banks, social supermarkets, all these community groups that were out there already doing a great job, and they were all going their own ways, whereas we were able to bring them all together, give everybody a wee bit of direction, them come back to us and tell us what they needed.
Ricky Wright chairs the poverty group and has seen a different demographic using charities.
We're definitely seeing a rise in people who normally were able to easily afford the basics, but also afford holidays or other things in a middle class way that have had to really cut back on those costs. So I think everyone's in the same storm, where the rising cost of living is impacting everyone, but maybe not everyone's in the same boat. There's some people who are operating on very marginal disposable income, and they're definitely being hit the hardest. But definitely people on the middle class are still being hit hard in terms of having to cut back on certain costs, and may find themselves in a place where they just can't afford to pay some of the outgoings that they've committed to.
Head of Council Services Julie Welch is aware that the priority of budgets may change for now, but sees the importance of future relations with all the current stakeholders.
We've had to think differently about prioritising what are the most immediate needs, but also thinking longer term in terms of how do we grow that infrastructure again. We need to deal with the crisis now, but we also need to look at the medium and longer term prospects for council and at the local council area, and that's why that framework in terms of the anti-poverty plan I think is so important in terms of how it even feeds into other local and regional strategies.
All around Britain, towns like this survive on the revenue from those that visit and holiday there. But with the middle classes now feeling the financial squeeze, how much priority will be given to leisure activities and the rewards that they bring? Dougie Beattie, GB News.